We are coming to you from inside the LaCroix Cruiser. I'm going to name this the LaCroix Podcasting Studio.
Sure. I'm Yvan.
I'm Nick.
And this is the DIY Detail Podcast. Today we're going to answer two questions. Well, actually, one question, two products. Why would I choose quick beads over ceramic gloss or vice versa?
Yeah, so we read your comments and I get emails and DMs and messages on our website. What's the difference? How long does each one last? When should I use them? And I told Yvan, I'm like, let's get a video so I can just send a link to people. I've been dying to do this because it would be a little confusing. Like some people use quick beads as a detailer.
Yeah.
Some people don't apply it to wet paint. Some people wonder, well, they're just both protection products. Like it can get a little confusing for people who don't read the instructions, which is most of us.
Yeah.
So I wonder, why don't we just start with the difference between ceramic gloss and quick beads?
So ceramic gloss is a spray-on, wipe-off product. It is a SiO2 based, and basically you can use it as a drying aid, but it's in a spray bottle. You spray it on the surface, you wipe it off. You can apply it with an applicator, you can apply it with a towel, whatever your choice is. The big difference between ceramic gloss and quick beads is how it's activated and how it's designed to be applied. And I say designed because people go outside the box all the time. But the design aspect of quick beads is a water activated graphene based ceramic, meaning that you spray it on the vehicle, a wet vehicle, and then with your garden hose or your pressure washer, hose it off. Or actually, you're not hosing it off, you're actually spreading it on the surface using the water. And once it's spread, then you're good to go.
Yeah, the best way to do this, we say, is to take your quick beads that you sprayed on and then rinse it from the bottom to top.
Right.
So you're spreading the product on the panel and then it's dropping down, and kind of there was a redundancy there.
Exactly. Now, they both work as drying aids, but in very different ways. The quick beads, we apply to the surface, we still have a lot of water there, and you're not needing to apply anything else. It in itself is the drying aid. With ceramic gloss, if you're using it as a drying aid, again, you have a wet panel, you spray it on, and where you sprayed it is where you deposit your towel. And then you spread the ceramic gloss, and at the same time, drying your surface.
Which one do you think smells better?
I like ceramic gloss much better.
I do too. I think they're both nice, but ceramic gloss is so popular for especially pro detailers because they're just used to that method.
Right.
They're used to spray on a towel, spray on the panel, let me use this as my drying aid and protecting in one step. Like that has just been ingrained in detailers for a long time. But I feel like more and more people are getting into the spray on, rinse off ceramic process.
Exactly. First of all, it's a fun process to do. It is, it's like foaming the car. It's just fun. And actually you can foam quick beads if you'd like.
You just foam it straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little expensive to do so we don't, it can be done if you want to have the fun of doing it, and if you want to, carry that expense, good for you. But for myself, not necessarily the best way of using it. The other aspect, pro detailers, a lot of them are using rinseless wash instead of soap and water. And if you're using Incredible Suds, that's great. Quick beads is a great complement to Incredible Suds. Ceramic gloss is an amazing complement to rinseless wash.
Because you don't rinse at the end with rinseless wash.
Right.
So that's the time saver for me. It's not that we don't use a hose.
Right.
It's not that we're not pre-treating it and then rinsing it off to emulsify some of the dirt, safely remove it from the paint. It's that after you've washed the car, the residue from the rinseless wash is actually full of polymers, giving you lubrication, and all you have to do is dry the paint from there. And that's that time-saving step, as opposed to rinsing the car off again, and it's totally wet again.
Exactly.
And then you go about your drying process. So it just saves like a small step. So that's why you may not want to use quick beads unless you're using it as a drying aid, which is not something we recommend, but a lot of people do it, and it totally works. It's a way to use it, we just don't talk about it like that.
Right. Now, one question you brought up was longevity.
Right. Maybe we shouldn't have buried the lead there, as they say in journalism, because that's a question a lot of people ask.
Right.
What's the longevity of quick beads and ceramic gloss? And we tell people 4 to 12 months.
Yeah, exactly. And 4 to 6 months is a good, safe parameter. If you maintain your vehicle well, you wash it regularly, 12 months, not a problem actually. So it does last a long time, either one, and they both last roughly about the same amount of time.
I would say if you really want your product to last, and it may be an easier intuitively for me to do this with ceramic gloss, is you would wash it, you would clay it, and then you would use panel prep on the paint. So this is a little bit more redundant, but if you want to get the most bang for your buck. And then I would spray it on an applicator or a towel, and then I would put it on there, and that's where I'm more likely to get that 12 months.
Right.
But if you just literally wet your car down, and then you spray quick beads on it, you haven't even washed it, you haven't decontaminated it, the pores are probably full of lots of mud and dirt and debris anyway.
Yeah.
So if you're laying let's say sunscreen on top of makeup, right? That sunscreen's not going to get in the pores of your skin, for a metaphor,
Yeah.
because the makeup's clogging the pore. You know what I'm saying? So like the better you prep the car, the more longevity you're going to get.
Right. But that being said, they're both inexpensive products.
Yeah.
And using them every 2 or 3 months or 4 or 6 months, not an issue. It's literally pennies every time you use them.
And that's why it's like I never panel prep the car after I'm just doing a regular wash.
Right.
To make sure ceramic gloss lasts longer. Why don't I just spray a couple on the
Right.
towel and the paint every time I dry my car down, and I'm just like stacking and redundancy, and like it beads like crazy every time I go through rain. Like
Yeah.
in that way, I feel like ceramic gloss lasts in perpetuity.
Right, and it can actually. And if you are washing with Incredible Suds or soap and water, you're rinsing that soap off, you're rinsing that lubrication off. You need a drying aid. So you're going to be using either ceramic gloss or quick beads every time you're washing your car when you're using soap and water. Now with a rinseless wash, you don't need a drying aid. A drying aid is just for fun.
Yep.
It's not a necessary part of the tool or the package.
Just for fun? Come on, it's all about the fun, Ivan.
I know.
But you know what, rinseless wash, you don't need a drying aid.
No. Whereas with soap and water, the soap is an amazing lubricant. Then what are you doing? You're rinsing it off, you're leaving water on the surface. Water is a solvent. Water basically has no lubrication. Therefore, you need some form of lubricant to protect your paint from the towel. Therefore, we have quick beads or ceramic gloss.
Even if you're just taking your car through the car wash, like put a couple sprays of ceramic gloss on your towel and on your wet paint with the drips. Just wipe it down. Like that's why, like Carlos Serrano, we've interviewed him on the podcast before. He gives a bottle of ceramic gloss to all of his clients who get coatings in his coating maintenance kit. So it's that simple for anybody to use,
right?
And it works phenomenally.
Yeah, and you know, as I mentioned, the price point, it's under $1 an ounce. So, just slightly above $1 an ounce. Not much, and
you're not going to use
an ounce every time you do the car.
No.
Like a 16-ounce bottle, you're going to do your car 20 or 30 times.
Yeah.
Unless you're like Nick and you over apply.
But okay, so then what? $1.50 to protect my car for? I mean, I think ceramic gloss. Like, I have not seen any issues with it failing at all. With quick beads, I think there's different ways to apply it, right?
Yeah.
So it has a very prep dependent. And then if you're only spraying like here, and then here, and then here, and you assume that when you flush the paint, it's all going to spread, you may be missing a spot or two.
Right.
So there's a little bit more, I would say, precision involved to make sure you're getting every surface, or am I still spreading it when I go bottom to top?
Well, you're spreading it, and one error some people make is the sprayers are adjustable. So if they spray it into a stream, it's going to hit one spot and that's it. If you spray it into a nice mist, then it goes further and you're using less product.
And then there's the Mr. Ladd method.
Yes.
Patented method with quick beads where you just spray the bottle into your stream of water.
Exactly.
And we've talked about it. It's a precision method as well. It may not give you as much longevity because you're not getting any quick beads dwell time.
Right. It's going to cut the longevity just a little bit, not much. And the reason his name is Bo Million, but his YouTube channel is Mr. Ladd. Million Reflections Luxury Auto Detailing. We know why he cut it down to Mr. Ladd. That being said, the reason Bo does this, he works in Miami. And in Miami, in the summer, it's hot. So spraying it on the vehicle, even if the vehicle is wet, he still had not enough time to get the pressure washer again and rinse it off. So rinsing it into the stream of the pressure washer solved two issues.
Yeah, spraying it into the stream of the pressure washer.
Yeah.
He also did something really interesting the other day where he did a rinseless wash and he used ceramic gloss at the same time. So what he did is, with a very lightly soiled car, he dipped his legacy sponge in the rinseless wash bucket, took it out, and on the panel, which I think he had at least pre-treated. I don't know if he sprayed it off first, but he at least pre-treated it with rinseless. He took the legacy sponge, sprayed a couple sprays of ceramic gloss on it, washed the panel, and then dried it right there.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Interesting.
It's interesting. I really want to try it.
Yeah, we'll have to give that a try.
He's got a lot of out-of-the-box thinking, and I think that's what makes detailing fun, is we all become our own little scientist, chemist, detective. I'm going to patent a new method, because it's a mental challenge, and it's a good one, I think, where you run into a issue that you're not sure how you're going to solve, and then you get to use your, I don't know, your ingenuity or whatever, ingenuity to try to solve the mystery.
Exactly. And, you know, there are a lot of ways of working outside the box that work very well. So, like we mentioned, the Mr. Ladd method of spraying into the stream. You can use either quick beads or ceramic gloss as a clay lube as well. So your vehicle is wet, you apply this, and you apply the quick beads or the ceramic gloss to your clay towel, one spray on the panel, and clay gives you lots of lubrication and protection. And a lot of people wonder, and this is a question we do get a lot as well, but won't the clay fight the protection or remove the protection? Our clay towel, and clay towel is not necessarily the right term for our towel. It's a perforated synthetic decontamination towel. Clay towel is a lot easier to say, and people understand what claying is. When you say perforated synthetic decontamination towel, it gets a little wordy. But our clay towel is non-abrasive. It doesn't scratch the surface, and it doesn't remove any protection you have on your surface. So if you have your vehicle protected with ceramic coating, with ceramic gloss, with a wax even, you can clay it, it's not going to remove that. Now, a traditional clay bar is an abrasive. So that traditional clay bar, yes, you risk removing your protection.
One method that I used the other day, and I'm like, why don't I use this more often, is I actually did Incredible Suds as my clay lube with iron remover. So I sprayed iron remover on the panel, and usually I'll do like an Incredible Suds pre-foam, then I'll rinse off, and then I'll have rinseless wash in the bucket, because I'm more of a rinseless wash guy, because then I can go right to whatever it is I need to do after that. But this was like a deep dive, ceramic coating, and I was in the moment, and I put Incredible Suds in the bucket, and I was like, whatever, I'm doing suds all the way. And Incredible Suds, I was done washing the car, so I didn't care if I was redunking the clay towel with the iron remover on it back into the bucket. You know, it's going to make your bucket smelly, but if you're done washing, who cares? And the Incredible Suds has so much slickness, right? People just love how slick it is on the paint, and it cleans so well.
Right.
That I noticed when I gave the iron remover adequate dwell time, I brought the clay towel, folded it into fours, couple sprays of iron remover on the towel. It was just like shaving through contaminants, and it felt so slick. Not slippery, but slick.
Yeah.
But that's almost a slippery feeling. Like, I'll take that kind of slickness. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
It wasn't slippery, but actually we had someone who was using our Cotton Candy Dream wash mitt with the Incredible Suds. He emailed me. He's like, it was so slick, I dropped the mitt, and I just threw it away right away. He's like one of those detailers, like, once the towel hits the ground, it's done. You know? But I don't think he's more of an enthusiast, but it is so slick, guys. So there's so many different ways you can clay, I guess is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and both of them, either quick beads or ceramic gloss, work extremely well as a clay lubricant. And you can actually stack. And we did a video a while ago, I forget what the vehicle was, but we washed with Incredible Suds, decontaminated the vehicle chemically, and then used quick beads as a drying aid. But we had the quick beads on the surface, and we used the ceramic gloss on the clay towel. Now that's going to give you a really deep finish, and it's going to last even longer.
Absolutely. And so I think if people ask me what do I prefer, I always tell them, like, I'm kind of a ceramic gloss guy, because it does everything you need it to do in a way that you're traditionally used to doing it. What I like about quick beads is it's fun and it's fast, and I thought it was more of just, hey, if you just want to have a little bit more fun, use it. But Ivan, you're talking to detailers who are actually using quick beads professionally. So walk me through why it would make sense from an efficiency and time standpoint to not do, the ceramic gloss method and instead spray on and rinse off. Like, in my head, does that save time, right? Because then I have to go back and dry the whole car again, and I've spread a bunch of water, and what if I'm outside and I'm dealing with the potential of a hot sun? It just seems like there's more variables to me, but like, what are you hearing from people who are using it as professionals?
So, two things. First of all, the ones that don't like using rinseless washing or haven't adopted rinseless washing, they're using the soap and water method. And with that, the quick beads is faster to use than ceramic gloss, for one. So in that context, it's actually a little more efficient to use quick beads. Secondly, quick beads has one little additional feature or ingredient, and that's graphene. And graphene helps to reduce the incidence of water spots. You're not going to prevent them 100%. You're not going to eliminate water spots with it. But what it will do is those pesky little water spots that you have a bit of dirt or pollen on the vehicle, it rains on it, then you get some spots caused by that Quick Beads will help prevent.
Are we talking about when application or afterwards as you're driving around with a protected vehicle?
Yeah. So after you've washed your vehicle, it's protected with Quick Beads because of the graphene. And this is probably the only reason anyone has graphene in any of these products, in any ceramic coating or graphene-based coating, is because graphene is really good at diminishing the incidence of water spots.
Yeah, we've had a discussion in the past on my Hawk Pro channel. Is graphene the future of detailing? And we know all about it and have chosen to include it in our product line.
Right.
So it's the water spotting is the big reason why people would choose graphene.
Exactly. And also the slickness. Graphene has a different feel to it. So if you do one panel with ceramic gloss, one with Quick Beads, you'll notice a difference in the feeling. Not a lot, and most people wouldn't even notice the difference. But when we're more in tune with what we're doing, and from the detailer's aspect that we're OCD, definitely you'll notice a bit of a difference. The graphene, for lack of a better term, feels velvety. Now, you're too young to remember velvet upholstery in cars, but those of us that are older, we know what velvet is. So it feels velvety.
I think I have a velvet couch. It's a nice vibe.
Yeah.
So I would say, Ivan's going to tell me that my perception that ceramic gloss is glossier than Quick Beads, but Quick Beads is slicker is probably all made up in my head.
No, there's a
there's a bit
of foundation to that.
Yeah, I feel like the pop from ceramic gloss, like I'm talking about that sunset gloss, right? The sun goes down and you've just protected that paint and you're just like, I feel like you're going to get a little bit more pop with ceramic gloss. And I've noticed under my towel, I'm going to feel a little bit more slickness with Quick Beads.
Yeah.
Which is why you could, honestly, and that's what I do sometimes, rinse the car off with the Mr. Ladd method, like boom, boom, boom into the stream, just after I've washed the car,
yeah,
boom, and then it's just like quick, and then I'll put ceramic gloss on my towel and just wipe it down. So I get the double whammy, as it were.
Exactly. And speaking of double whammy, there's something you can do to help us. Ask us questions. That's what instigates many of these podcasts is your questions. So if you're listening on a podcast platform, send us an email at nick@DIY-detail for your questions. And if you're watching on YouTube, well, very easy.
I would say the best way to do it is a YouTube comment.
Yeah.
And then an email is probably second best.
Yeah.
It gets a little bit lost in the chaos on TikTok and Instagram in terms of DMs and comments.
Right.
So the best way is either YouTube, which we both check, or my email.
Exactly. So with that, we're going to end this one here.
The double whammy is to send the comment and then
subscribe.
That's the triple whammy.
Well, and hit the notification bell. 4.
All right.
So
thank you guys. From the LaCroix Cruiser, we're going to send you to more podcasts in this playlist right here.